Welcome to HPS Mechanical's orientation program. We want to welcome you to the team and share how we work together safely to bring each project to a successful completion. Your work here will be recognized as the safest in the industry. Our goal is to bring you on board with our team attitude towards safety. We take time to do the job right and look out for one another so that each and every one of us can go home safe to our families. We have given you this opportunity because we believe in you and your ability. In return, we ask that you give us your full commitment to doing your job safely with a team mentality and a dedication to excellence in everything that you do. Most serious safety situations happen when someone finds himself in an unfamiliar situation and does not take the proper time to do the work safely. If you find yourself in this situation, please find a job site supervisor to complete a job hazard analysis prior to taking any further action. If for some reason you're not getting the support you need at the job site, call the home office immediately and ask for assistance. We believe that you are our number one asset and want to protect that. And although all construction work is based on timeliness and efficiency, the safety of your life and others must be ours and your number one priority. HPS is contractually committed to follow the safety guidelines required by each project's specifications. Again, if you are unsure of the circumstances or situation, we are counting on you to let us know immediately. Safety is more than just a word, it's a mindset. Make sure that mindset is yours. Stop, look, analyze, and manage. You wouldn't rush into a war zone without the proper weapons and a good battle plan, and you shouldn't approach your job with reckless abandon either. Please make sure that you understand how to use your tools safely and have come up with a good plan for the identified hazards in your work area before you begin work. It only takes one poor decision, oversight, and a split second to change your life or someone else's forever. Please take the time to do it right. Please make sure that you have a copy of your injury and illness prevention program on hand and that your project management and supervisors are familiar with the content and implementation. Your crew needs to have a designated safety person who will be responsible for daily safety inspections and helping to develop job hazard analysis. The designated safety person is also responsible and required to stop unsafe work and make corrections. This person must be designated in writing to HPS for our records. Construction job sites are known for having hazardous chemicals and materials. Please make sure that your crew is familiar with any of these chemicals and materials before they are brought on site, and that an appropriate MSDS sheet is available to them. The HPS MSDS book can be found online at hpsmechanical.com on the Safety tab, Safety Info option. In addition to making sure that your crew is fully familiar with any hazardous material brought on site and has an MSDS sheet available to them, they also need to be familiar with how to store it safely with adequate secondary containment. The proper safety training and certification is mandatory for all forklift operators on site. Before operation, you must show your operator training card to HPS, and any craft supervisors must have an OSHA 10 card. If they don't already have this card, they have only 15 days to pass the course and become OSHA 10 qualified. Some safety violations pose such a great risk that they have to have severe consequences. HPS has a one strike and you're off the job policy for the following violations: violating perimeter fall protection, entering an unprotected 5-foot trench, hitting a utility line and not calling USA Underground, working on energized circuits, or violating crane operation standards. Respect yourself and those around you. Bad behavioral activities will also result in dismissal from the job. These include use of alcohol or illegal or unprescribed drugs, horseplay, fighting, or harassment. Don't take the chance. Always pay close attention to restricted or taped off areas. Do not cross red danger tape unless you've given proper authorization. Pay close attention to areas that are caution taped off, and never enter a decked area without the proper permissions. The job site also has established safe practices to be followed. These include using whip checks on compressed air lines and posting and proper use of powder-actuated tools. Always tie off above your head, leaving at least a 3-foot safety factor from the floor up to the bottom of your feet at the fullest extension of the line. For work at heights from 7.5 feet to 18 feet above a surface, use a retractable rather than a shock-absorbing lanyard. Never connect a shock-absorbing lanyard to a retractable. Always hook the retractable directly to your D-ring. A small attention to detail can go a long way. Please make sure that your crew is cleaning up after themselves as they go and that any nails are bent back or removed from lumber. Also, emergency aisles are to be kept clear with cords tied up neatly. High-pressure cylinders can be very dangerous. Oxygen cylinders must be separated from propane or others by a distance of at least 20 feet. All fuel cylinders must be stored in the upright position. Please pay close attention to your surroundings when you're unbundling pipe or other strap loads. Make sure that everyone is out of the area where material could fall. Never drive a forklift with an elevated load, and don't allow your materials to be stored in emergency aisles. Never work on live circuits. Follow your company's lockout-tagout procedure. For multiple workers in an area, each worker must use his own personal lock. No smoking on the job except for in designated areas. Anyone involved in accidents or injuries on the job site will have to submit to the standard drug and alcohol testing. A failed test is grounds for immediate dismissal and removal from the job site. For any injury, even minor in nature, you must notify your supervisor immediately, and also notify the HPS home office or designated safety person on site. If a serious accident occurs, call 911 for emergency response. Stabilize and provide emergency treatment for the victim. Provide an escort for the emergency responders to make their way into the job. All safety meetings conducted by HPS Mechanical that are mandatory in nature must have your crew available to make sure that deliveries are coordinated properly and general hazards and upcoming changes are made aware to all involved in the work. The proper personal protective equipment must be worn by your crew and suppliers at all times on the job site. This includes orange shirts and reflective vests, which must be Class 2 or Class 3 if night work is being performed. Vaults and pits are confined spaces. Entry into any confined space requires the proper training and written permission from HPS Mechanical in advance. Flaggers have to be trained and qualified. Warning signs need to be set up ahead of the places where traffic is to be stopped. Flaggers have to use traffic paddles and wear reflective vests. The flagger has to be assertive in controlling the site. Be sure that all necessary barricades, fencing, and signs are in place. Keep the public out of the construction area. When working on the ground near heavy equipment, be sure the backup alarm is working because the operator may not be able to see you. Always work facing the equipment and make eye contact with the operator. An orange vest must be worn around heavy equipment. All forklift operators need to carry their certification cards with them before they can begin work. Work smart and clean up your waste material as you go. Make sure you preserve your reputation as the best in your industry. Be a good steward of our resources and report all spills immediately. Also clean up any spills that happen on your watch. We want to make sure we use scaffolds safely. Before working on a scaffold, make sure you conduct your daily inspection for mud sills, ties, cross bracing, rails, planking, etc. Every scaffold which has been installed correctly should have a green tag at the entrance or access ladder. If it's red tagged or not tagged, don't use the scaffold. Tie off if there is more than a 16-inch gap between the interior side of the planking and the wall and no railing. If working more than 3 courses up, secure your tools and use a tether cord when using hammers or other hand tools. There can be no disturbance of the ground unless we have a copy of the underground survey in our hands. Excavation can be potentially dangerous work. We need job hazard analysis done and a pre-task planning meeting conducted before the start of the work. Exact location of any utilities has to be determined safely by proper methods. For any entry into a 5-foot or deeper trench, notification has to be provided to OSHA prior to entry, and a competent person needs to be on site during trench entry and to perform daily inspection before work starts. We need burn permits filled out prior to welding or torch cutting activities. Always have a fire extinguisher within easy reach. For slag dropping to the decks below, have a trained person act as a fire watch or rope the area off as restricted. No access. Finally, we expect all of us on site to act in a professional manner as masters of our trades. This means no offensive images or wording on your clothing, gang boxes, or equipment. No offensive language or gestures. Always be a good neighbor, and let's set good standards for others to follow in the trade. Thank you for your time going through the HPS orientation training. Let's get to work and send everybody home safe tonight. Thanks again.